All right, let's get into it. Today we're talking about fluoride. It's that thing in our water, in our toothpaste. We use it every single day, but honestly, how many of us really know what it is? It gets called everything from a public health miracle to a controversial additive. So what's the real story here?
Let's just start with a number, 90%. That, according to the World Health Organization, is roughly how many school children across the globe are affected by dental cavities. That is a huge, worldwide problem, but it's also a problem we can largely prevent. And that, right there, is where fluoride comes into the story.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with just how big this dental dilemma is. Then we'll get into the science of how fluoride actually works as a protective shield. We'll look at the different ways it gets to our teeth, ask if you can have too much of a good thing, and then unpack that big controversy. And finally, we'll take a peek at what's next for fluoride treatments. Okay, so dental caries, that's just the fancy term for cavities, is one of the most common diseases on the entire planet. And what's driving it? Well, it's pretty straightforward. We're eating more sugar, and, really importantly, we're not getting enough exposure to fluoride. It's a battle being fought in mouths all over the world.
This brings us to our main weapon in the fight against cavities, fluoride. For decades, it's been the absolute cornerstone of preventative dental care. But how? How does it actually work? What is this element doing to protect our teeth so incredibly well?
Well, at its heart, fluoride is a totally natural element. I mean, you can find it in the soil, in water, even in some foods like tea and seafood. But in the world of dentistry, it's basically the gold standard for fighting cavities because it helps our teeth defend themselves and even repair themselves from daily damage. So this is where it gets really cool. Fluoride has this three-part defense system. First, it boosts resistance. It actually becomes part of your tooth enamel, building a stronger, more acid-resistant structure. Think of it like upgrading your armor. Second, after you eat or drink something acidic, fluoride kicks the natural repair process, remineralization, into high gear. And third, it goes on the offense, messing with the acid-producing bacteria and plaque so they can't do as much damage. It's a full-on protective shield.
Okay, so we know what it does, but how do we get it to the teeth? Well, there are two main strategies for this. Systemic, which means it works from inside your body, and topical, which, you guessed it, is applied right on the outside of your teeth.
And this chart lays out the difference perfectly. Systemic fluoride, the kind you get from fluoridated water or supplements, you swallow it. Its biggest benefit happens before your adult teeth even show up. It gets built right into them while they're developing. Topical fluoride, from things like toothpaste or treatments at the dentist, works after your teeth have erupted. It's constantly reinforcing that shield on the teeth you see in your mouth every day.
Now, this all leads to two pretty different ways of thinking about public health. You've got community-based methods, like fluoridating the public water supply, which is all about protecting everyone in a population automatically. Then you have individual-based methods, like brushing with fluoride toothpaste or getting a treatment at the dentist's office. That puts the control and the responsibility on the person.
But, and there's always a but, right? This is where things get a little more complicated. You have to think of fluoride like a powerful medicine. The dose is absolutely everything. Because while it's fantastic in the right amounts, too much of it, especially when you're a kid, can lead to problems.
And that problem is called dental fluorosis. Now, it's important to note, this isn't a disease. It's a cosmetic condition that happens when a child takes in too much fluoride while their permanent teeth are still forming under their gums. That excess fluoride can mess with how the enamel forms, changing how it looks.
And this scale here shows you the whole spectrum. It goes from perfectly normal enamel to very mild cases, which might just have a few little white specks, all the way to severe, where the enamel can look pitted and stained. But here's the crucial thing. The vast majority of cases fall into that very mild to mild category, which honestly, most people would never even notice.
So, that risk of fluorosis, along with a few other concerns, takes us right into one of the longest-running, most heated public health debates out there, the controversy over putting fluoride in our drinking water.
And I think this quote just nails it. Both sides are incredibly passionate, and both have been accused of playing up their own arguments while downplaying the other side's points. So our goal here isn't to pick a side. It's just to lay out the arguments from the source material so you can understand them.
So what are the big arguments? Well, for the people who support water fluoridation, it's really about social equity. It's a safe, cheap, and effective way to get cavity prevention to everyone, especially families who might not be able to afford regular dental care. They see it like adding vitamins to food. On the flip side, opponents bring up big ethical questions about informed consent. They call it mass medication. They point out that you can't control how much any one person gets, and they argue that since fluoride works best topically, it just makes more sense to put it directly on the teeth.
Now, while this public debate is going on, the science of fluoride is definitely not standing still. Researchers are always looking for new and better ways to use it, and that's leading to some really cool innovations that go way beyond your basic toothpaste.
One of the biggest game changers recently is something called silver diamine fluoride, or SDF. It's this powerful liquid that's a 1-2 punch. It has the antimicrobial power of silver to kill bacteria, and the remineralizing shield of fluoride to help rebuild the tooth. A dentist can just paint it right onto a cavity to stop the decay, often with no drilling required at all.
SDF is incredible, especially for treating little kids or patients who have trouble sitting in a dentist chair, because it's so quick and painless. But, and this is a big but, it comes with a major trade-off. It permanently stains the decayed part of the tooth black. So yeah, it's a powerful tool, but it's one with a very real cosmetic price.
And all of this brings us to the big, final question. We've seen that fluoride is an amazing tool for stopping a super common disease, but the whole debate around it pushes us to ask something deeper. As a society, how do we balance a health benefit for the whole community against an individual's right to choose for themselves? There really is no easy answer, but that's the question right at the very heart of the fluoride story.